What would be your advice to the younger generation in this room? To be more specific, nowadays, there's so many young men or young women who could not find jobs. Even they could, they're not happy with the pay. 22K is 22,000 MT, that's too low. So what would be your advice? Now their complaint would be, the government has the responsibility to provide a better job. Is that the answer?
I usually like to turn the answers all the way around. If you feel like that's a dead end, I probably would not even keep attempting to look for a job, but follow your passion first. I think what you can do with, just like I tell my student interns now, the whole world is full of information these days. I can't teach you knowledge, but I can teach you thinking process or share those with you. So anyone, if you have a personal stories means it's about your own passion, your own emotion. That's how it moves people. If you're talking about how much you know, I always tell my students, don't write to me about what you have learned, because I can find out those from the internet too. So it's your personal story that what moves you. So if you follow your passion before you get a job, I think someone will come at the end, rather than be in a job that after 40 years you find out that's not what you want to do. Like, I'm fairly good now in fundraising, but that's not what I want to do. So we only raise enough fund and then I leave it alone. Other people want growth. I want my society to be small and intimate. Okay, so we could have grown very large like the National Geographic, but that's not what I'm after. I need that personal relationship. It's very important for me. So you really have some choice to define what you want. Recently, like the last couple of days, I happen to enjoy staying at the Grand Hyatt because my friend from Singapore owns it. So, but even if I go to the lounge for coffee to work, I always take the same seat, and I teach my friends and young people, if you want to meet with me in town, can you please go to the same restaurant and hopefully the same table? Because then after several times we meet, it's meaningful. It has some lasting value. But if every time I want a new restaurant, sit in a new place, try a new food, eventually it has meaningless. It's meaningless. So I think you have to regulate yourself, discipline yourself. What are the few things that are important to you? And then I think life becomes far more meaningful. So in terms of answering your question, I don't know about the Taiwan job market. We started very small. I never thought that it's going to be sustainable. Even sustainable 2 years ago when we were very successful, I thought, well, we've done it for 25 years. China has changed so much. Money doesn't go that far in China now. Are we still relevant? I was ready to close it down because I thought if we started for that reason, the job's done. Now there's a new generation coming up. Let them do the job. So I wasn't really trying to hold on and say, we must sustain into a future generation when the job's done. So I think you don't be overly hung up about like what you started to. There's a time that, that's why I said if it's sustainable, first you have to ask the question, are you still relevant? Okay, that's very important. But at the same time, I think if looking for a job, while you're still looking for a job, maybe you start something that, like entrepreneurs, you can do something that you're passionate about. As kids, we don't mind falling and standing on the feet. As adults, we're all worrying about failing, and how people look at you. So just I think if they go back to what their original way of, as a little kid, you don't feel embarrassed. I think there's a new way of finding themselves again.
谢谢。每个人都有好多本啊，来，这边。他好忙啊，好忙，签不完。
他们听得高兴，我也很高兴。
谢谢。